Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to our first episode of 2025. We are kicking it off with a curated month from our friends over at TUFTEX, and I am so excited. We have pre-recorded some of these interviews already, so I can say with 100% certainty that you are going to learn so much and enjoy hearing from the guests that they have hand-selected for this month of interviews. If you're unfamiliar with TUFTEX, TUFTEX Balloons is a family-owned and operated business and is the only manufacturer making latex balloons in the USA and Canada. TUFTEX is committed to providing premium quality products and building a stronger balloon community through educational initiatives to support the growth of balloon professionals. Be sure to look for TUFTEX balloons at your favorite distributor. I am a huge fan of TUFTEX, and I'm a huge fan of our first guest, who is the owner of TUFTEX. Allison is going to kick off this month and this year with a behind-the-scenes interview of everything that's happening over at TUFTEX. And if you're nosy like me, you're going to love this interview because she is really open and honest about the new products they're coming out with, the new country that they've started producing balloons in, kind of how they expanded over the last year. I love Allison. I loved our first interview with Allison. We will link to that where we get to know a little bit about her family and how they first started in balloons. But today is a bit of an update episode and a preview for all of the amazing things they have in store for us as professional balloon decorators. Finally, if you would like to support the podcast, please consider subscribing to bonus episodes for $5 a month. There are bonus episodes available every single week where I talk pretty candidly about what's going on in my business, some of my struggles, some of my tips, things that are going well, things that aren't. And it's the easiest way for you to support the show if you'd like to do that. So it will be linked wherever you are listening. All right, let's take a quick break and head over to the U-Glue hotline for some great advice that sticks. And then let's kick off 2025 with Allison the owner of TUFTEX. Welcome to the U-Glue hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks, brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hey Sarah, this is Beth with Balloons by Beth in San Antonio, Texas. I wanted to call in with a little tip, which maybe people already know, but I use all the time, and that is to make water weights for the ends of garlands. I don't love securing the end of a garland to the floor just because sometimes it can pop off, and depending on what the floor is made of, it can mess up the floor. So I double a balloon up. So I'll put a balloon inside a balloon, an 11-inch or even a 17-inch. I put it on a faucet, just like you'd fill up water balloons back in the olden days when I was a kid. And you make it about, 4 or 5 inches, not huge. Tie off the inside balloon and then tie that to the bottom of your garland inside your balloon cluster. And it holds it in place. Thanks. Have a great day.
Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, U-Glue, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on U-Glue when you buy directly from Having a Party using code BRIGHT at checkout. All right, welcome back, Allison. Holy cow, a lot has changed since the last time we chatted. You've been busy, to say the least, and I'm excited to kick off 2025 with you and hear all about what has changed over at TUFTEX. So the first big thing that I think everyone knows about is that you acquired some new factories. So what in the world? Can you just walk us through that? Because I don't understand how that happens. I don't know if you snatched up balloon factories that were on the market. Like, what went on there?
Actually, I'm not exactly sure what went on either. I'm still not sure. No. To be serious, So we did acquire a new factory in Hamilton, Canada, Hamilton, Ontario, actually. And we got that, I believe, August 1st.
Okay.
So there was a good amount of time before that, months and months, that we were trying to acquire even more factories.
Okay.
But it all came out, and kind of the dust settled. We had the one that I really wanted in the first place, which was the Hamilton facility. And the reason why it was, I guess, something that I really wanted was it had the ability to make products that we didn't have right now, right here in
Mm-hmm.
Ohio. And as you know, or can imagine, I guess, the process for building a whole new line is really lengthy. Years, actually. We put 2 new lines in a couple of years ago. And so I knew what that kind of meant. So at Hamilton, we were able to, start making 260s. We're going to be coming out with some other products, all from lines that were there that know how to do it. And so it's just been kind of a whirlwind. There's so many things that were different than anticipated.
Yeah.
And also not anticipated at all. So those things, have been a really big learning process for our entire team, for our new teammates in Canada. And we're all really just now, I would say, getting in the groove, together on all of the things that we had in mind. And it's been, like I said, a big whirlwind.
But that's really fast. You said August, so you've only been there for 4 months
Yes.
and you already
Yeah.
have products out. So 260s were released pretty recently. That I feel like that's a really quick turnaround.
Yes. Yes. And that's what, when you have a new business, well, there's a lot more that's riding on it and a lot more a lot more responsibility. So it's kind of like we need to hit the ground running. We all, even just all of the different pieces between selling, production, marketing, all of those things have been a little bit different than what we're used to.
Okay.
And then there are a lot of other pieces that, just the differences between working with a facility in Canada versus one in the United States, trying to join those two, all of our systems behind. There's so many pieces that, all of us are working on and have a hand in. And so it's really been fun. It's been stressful. But the biggest part is it's, it truly is a learning process, and it makes everything exciting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And in the end, it really just makes TUFTEX a player in the entire industry versus
Yeah.
just the round balloons, which we've known we wanted to do it, but we haven't had quite the ability up until now.
That's exciting. So is that Canada factory plant? What do you call it?
I sometimes call it the factory or a
Okay.
facility. I don't know.
Facility. Do they also make rounds, or are they mostly the specialty balloons?
They are actually making rounds up there as well.
Okay.
So they're making our 5-inch rounds right now. So, there's just, even with that, we have, it's a whole different process because they are different lines. Obviously, balloons are made mostly the same way, I would bet, through almost any manufacturers.
Yeah.
They're similar, but there are little bits and pieces that are different. So in order to make them, uniquely TUFTEX, those things all have to come together. And that's what I've kind of been saying. My little mantra is, like the 260s, the TT 260s, as I call them, they are kind of like TUFTEX and Qualitex had a baby.
They are. I was almost exclusively Qualitex before. It's what I learned on, and I'm not a twister by any means, But like if you use a bad 260, like you can tell, like it's not soft, it leaves your hands kind of gross. So then when I got the TUFTEX ones, I was like, these are very nice. I love them. And I wonder like how much of that is because they're being made in the same factory. Like I would imagine the latex changed or no? Is that dumb to think?
Yes. Yes. So the process is the same as what it had been, what you were used to, what a lot of twisters were used to, and people using the twisting products. The personnel there, the same.
Okay.
They're a lot of the same teammates have been making those balloons for decades. So they know how to make them. They're the same forms, the same process, the same lines, but it is the TUFTEX recipe.
Yeah.
So it's our latex, our colors, all of those things kind of together. It's like I said, it's like we had a baby, and so far we're getting great reviews. So
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
So this was the question that I had right away. Like, did the TUFTEX latex just like work? Like I don't know. Is it the same for rounds as it is 260s, or were you all of a sudden like trying to rework your own formula and doing testing? Because I mean, I feel like 4 months is no time at all. So did you just get it right the first time?
No, we did not just get it right the first time. But between our team here and their team there, which I'm sorry, I meant to say our team there because I still am having, just like anyone, it's kind of like, well, I'm so used to being here
Yeah.
and this is our team. But and we're getting, more and more used to one another, but it is our team there. We had to work really closely together on some bits and pieces of the process. But it mostly was process and not the actual recipe pieces,
Oh,
if that
interesting.
makes sense. So those recipe pieces that needed tweaked were just a little bit. It was more the process of how to get this new latex formulation off of the forms and that sort of thing. So it's a lot of science, but we have a plant manager here, a plant manager there, and then like I said, all of their operators, they could tell kind of like, oh, this might need to happen. This needs to happen. We need to tweak this. So there was a lot of coming together and figuring it out and quickly, like you said.
That's really cool. And I mean, still a family business because your son and his wife Meg, they went up there, right? They live in Canada now?
Yes, they're up in Canada, and it is. I mean, my husband Mike and I own the business, but we're obviously not there all the time. I was there last week for 3 days. Our other two sons, Gage and Doc, kind of coming back and forth here or there when necessary and kind of regularly
It
as
sounds like
much
you
as we
need
can.
a TUFTEX private jet. You guys are going back and forth.
I don't know if I trust those. I mean, I'm pretty good on it's actually only a 5 hour drive. So by the time you factor in any type of airport waiting, driving to a close airport from our area is really not we're in a small little area between two big cities in Ohio. So it's about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on which airport you choose. So
Yeah.
in the end, it's quicker to just drive up there.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even think of that. That's wow. You are busy, busy. All right, one more question about the 260s, and then we got to move on because we have so much to talk about. But what has this done for your marketing? I would imagine you didn't really target twisters before, and now, like, are we going to start seeing you at twisting conventions?
Oh, yes, yes. And actually, I was a little bit overwhelmed with it. If you would have asked that question maybe 2 months ago, yes, I don't want to say I didn't pay attention to twisters, but I really had my hands full and our team had our hands full with artists who primarily use rounds.
Yeah, right. You
And
didn't, yeah. Why would you cater to twisters if they're not
yeah,
using your balloons? Yeah.
yeah. Besides, just meeting people at maybe Float or some of
Hmm.
the other things that we attend. But now that I'm seeing things and we're getting reactions and feedback from twisters, I'm really, really excited about it. I'm excited to learn more about what people want and need and how TUFTEX can kind of make our mark in that segment of the industry, because I feel like it's just, that's a fun part for me of this kind of
Yeah.
adventure. So I will be attending the Florida Super Jam
Okay.
in just a couple weeks, actually. I'd say 3 weeks, I think. February. It's the second week of February.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, January. So sorry, January. So I'm going to be down there all week, and I started seeing the schedule, and I am once again overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my gosh, the booths are open till midnight.
Yeah, Twisters are nuts. I can say that because I was introduced to balloons by Twisters. I love them, but they go hard at these conventions.
Yes. I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I even, as I get more comfortable in all of these events, I'm by about 8 o'clock, I'm like talked out.
Yeah.
I'm ready for, let me go down, let me go up to my room and take a sandwich and just chill out. And
Yeah.
so I'm gonna really have to, get all of my energy up, especially at 52. I'm, not the same as even 7 years ago in this industry. So I'm going to be doing that. And then Meg and one of our Canadian team members, well, Meg, as well as Mary Lynn, are going to be at Twist and Shout.
Oh, cool. Where is that
Yeah.
this year?
That is in Atlanta.
Okay.
In February. So I may make my way down to that maybe for a day as well, but they're taking that. I'm doing the Florida Super Jam all alone. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
no,
see how
I
that
think
goes.
balloon twisters are some of the like nicest and most generous people. That's how I started balloons. I was at a face painting convention and I went to just kind of like look at a twisting class. Like I wanted nothing to do with it. I just kind of wanted to see what was happening. And like that was not an option. They were like putting balloons in my hands. I was like, I don't have a pump. They were like, here's a pump. I was like, I just want to watch. They were like, start inflating. Like they were so generous and helpful. And I think you'll love all those people. All right, let's take a quick break and then talk about a couple new products that I believe are also on their way. Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Having a Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. Having a Party Wholesale is on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients, from top brands like TUFTEX, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, Sempertex, Premium Conwin, and introducing Brookloon, a new balloon line created by the Having a Party family. They've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at havingaparty.com. All right, welcome back. What else are you working on? It's not just the 260s. You have more in store that I don't think is released yet. So you can spill the beans here if you'd like.
Of course. So we are also working on our effects line. They're called the TUFTEX Effects, and they are our chrome type balloons. Let me tell you, I've seen them some. We started producing them, I want to say maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And so I have 11-inch in 2 colors, and they're totally worth the wait. I mean, I know that we're kind of catching up. Most other manufacturers have had those products for a while, and but we're excited to finally have them.
That's awesome. Are you going to expand will the colors and sizes? Is that like the goal?
Yes. So the goal at the beginning, 4 colors and 6 sizes in all 4 colors. So 5s, 11s, 17s, 24s, 36s, and the TT 260s.
Nice. Amazing. That's perfect. That was, I think that was the missing link in a lot of other, metallic or shiny or whatever you call them. Like there'd be some sizes and not all of them, which was hard. Because you're like, yeah. I can't do anything if I don't have all the sizes. That's really exciting. Do you have an anticipated release date for those?
Yes. So it's a little bit different. Our customers, the balloon distributors, are pretty used to the way that TUFTEX has released things in the past. Have been, like, let's just say It's next Tuesday is our release date. And I've always really liked that our distributors have the balloons in store or online and ready to sell the minute that we release them. With the TT260s as well as our effects line, it's a little bit different because with the new facility, there's got to be a little bit of give and take right now as we're all learning.
Yeah.
So not only are they being produced up there, most of them, not all of our effects line will be produced up there, but some of the line will be. But we also have to get them shipped here. So they need to go through customs.
Okay.
And then we actually package them and ship out from our Ohio location. So it's just been different. It's not like next Tuesday at 11 a.m., sales are on, everything's available.
Yeah.
And especially with the TT260s, because there were like 25 colors, it's not just 4 colors, but there are 25 products. And we actually have not made a couple of those that we have planned, they're in the works, I should say, for the TT260s. But back to the effects, some of them will be available sooner than others.
Okay.
So we're hoping for the entire line to be available sometime in February, but artists may see some of the products coming like available at their local distributor in, say, end of January.
Okay.
So,
sure.
But they might not
exciting.
be all 6 colors. It might be 3 of the 6 are available, or 4 of the 6, or something like that. So
neat. All right. What else? What's the missing link? See what I did?
Well, we do plan on having our linking balloons, which will be called links. And I'm not exactly sure when those will be available. We really just we're still working through these other things, but sometimes very soon, I would say sometime in the first half of 2025.
So is that another one of the things that you gained in the acquisition of that new facility? Like they have the molds, I'm assuming they look different.
Yep.
They have like the little nipple on there.
Yes.
I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Okay.
they have them. We had those 6-inch and 11-inch.
Okay.
The forms, I call them the forms. Some people call them molds, but actually, funny you even bring them up because today I got a photo of our first sample links. So
that's exciting.
Yeah. And, it's just a photo from Meg, so I don't get to see it exactly in my hands, but I will, I'm sure they'll probably pop it in the mail and send it later this week.
Yeah. Well, it has to all be really exciting. I mean,
It is.
It's like you had the rounds down and now it's like you need a new challenge. You can't just go easy on yourself. You got to keep it hard.
I know. Well, I like to be busy. I like everybody here to be busy. I don't know if everybody likes to be busy, but I do. So
are you the only manufacturer in the US and Canada now?
Yes, we are.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think, do you have you don't have anything anywhere else, right? It's just those 2 facilities?
No.
Gotcha.
No. I am not excited about having another facility anywhere else.
Okay.
Right now.
I thought you were going to make another big announcement. I was like, holy cow, is more coming?
No. Ask me again maybe next year. It's kind of like, I remember, when you have a baby and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, you're maybe 2 months in and you're like, oh, I just love this little one. But I really don't think I ever want to do this again. It's so much work.
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling right now. But then maybe as you get away from it, then you're kind of like, oh, I don't know. It was fun. It wasn't that much work. I can do it again.
No, that's coming from you. I have 2 and I'm done. How many do you have? You have like 15 children, don't you?
5.
That's the same. That's the same as 15 in my mind. I had 2 and I only gave birth to one of them. And I was like, I'm done. Done with this.
Yeah, it might just be, I don't know. At least in my head, that's the way I think about it. Maybe someday, but not right now. That's for sure.
Well, that's really exciting. I have one more question about Canada specifically. Do you have any idea like where your balloons were going before? Like I mean, you serve people all over the world. Basically, what I'm getting at is, will this increase your availability in Canada? Like, do you think you'll have more balloon artists up there using TUFTEX, or you're kind of like distributing globally anyway at this point?
Well, we did have, like you said, a good basis of customers in Canada. And by customers, I'm sorry, I mean our distributors. I do think that a lot of the Canadians are happy that the facility is back up and running, that we have a lot of the teammates there are working with us, and now part of the TUFTEX team. So I'm hopeful that we'll have more, use in Canada overall.
But
So
you're expanding everywhere. I mean, like you were at those UK, like the balloon awards. You're all over. So is there? I mean, that's all shipping out from your Ohio location?
yes.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's a lot. Very cool.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because we have to, well, the way we're doing it right now is we ship our product from Canada to Ohio, but then our customers in Canada, we have to ship back into Canada.
Oh, that's
You know,
interesting.
so that's a little bit, yeah, it is interesting. Anyway, I was, last week, I'm, walking through our, relatively new Canadian facility, and there are just rooms and rooms of inventory, and not a lot of inventory, but things on the shelves. And it's, I do want to say that I think there's a place in my heart now for Qualitex, which I had always seen as, obviously they're a competitor and I had respect for them, but I think it's really strange for me to walk around and think, what they did for the industry. And I think, there's just a big, I guess, sense of gratitude for them, for Ted and Betty, and for, that entire network of their team, and what they've done for the industry is just, it's pretty amazing. And now I walk around there and I think, oh my goodness, like it's very strange for me to know that I own all of the a lot of these a lot of things around there that have what I considered a competitor's,
Yeah.
you know, I considered them obviously the largest competitor,
Yeah.
and it's just really strange.
No,
It is.
and it is so interesting too. It's like I mean, obviously they did a lot, but like some of the simple stuff too. Like I think they were the first brand to like put entire bags of one color together. Because before that, it was just like these variety bags. It's like, why would anybody ever want one color of balloon? And now it's stuff that it's like, well, why would anybody want a mixed bag of balloons? Like that's insane to us, But it's these simple things that they just kind of started. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Well, congratulations on that. I mean, very exciting. I was actually at Disney World and we were like, it was the day that it was the day that they were doing all the auctions for the old Qualitex stuff. And I was like standing in line with other balloon people. And I was like, guys, should I buy this industrial balloon printer? Should I like it's just you want to buy this stuff because it's like available. You're like, do I need a machine that puts balloons in bags at rapid pace? Maybe I should buy this. But these machines are like the size of a house. I mean, they're crazy. So did you get any of that stuff, or like that kind of all like who bought that stuff? Where did it go?
Yes. So I was not part of one of our sons was kind of the one involved in all of that process, and he would just give us updates.
Okay.
And we did buy some pieces from different facilities,
Okay.
Pioneer plants, um, and had them, shipped either to here or Canada. But I can't tell you because I was not actively involved. I can't tell you who got what besides, and truthfully, I don't even know if I know everything that we we
Yeah.
have, because we did get, quite a bit, and we've just, like I said, we have some things here. Some of the things we just put in a storage facility, and we don't even have. It's just kind of like a maybe someday, or, there maybe some of them have plans, but maybe
Yeah.
not yet.
That's
So,
amazing. Oh my gosh, so many moving pieces. Well, let's take another break and then I want to talk about some events you have coming up. Last time we spoke, you couldn't say yay or nay if you were doing Tough Tech's Experience again. and it's happening. So I want to talk about that and a couple other things after the break. If you're looking to grow your balloon business through sales and marketing, Balloon Suite is the high-tech toolkit designed just for you. Let's chat with Jeff Kelly, owner of Balloon Suite, to answer one of your sales and marketing questions. All right, welcome, Jeff. I have a question today about timeline. If someone is wanting to get a website up and running, what is the timeline they should look for? Is this a year-long process? Is this like a done in a weekend process? What does that look like? I think a lot of times the overwhelm kind of stops people from even getting started. So what's like a basic rule of thumb for how long this process should take?
Basic rule of thumb in working with my team to get a website built is 3 to 8 weeks. And this is a fantastic question because the number one factor in the pleasure or displeasure that someone feels when they're doing a website project is the amount of time it takes. If it takes a really, really long time, you're going to be really frustrated with the project, even if it goes fantastically. If it gets done in a speedy way, you're going to feel really good about it, even if the result is kind of so-so. We don't want to sacrifice quality when we're working with anybody, but if you're just thinking about what's a general timeline to be thinking of, if I'm working with somebody on a website, 3 to 8 weeks is a good time frame. Now, what is that person going to need from you? The number one thing we need from our clients is guidance about your business. What do you sell? What do you not sell? Are there neighborhoods in your area or cities in your area that you don't sell to or you really want to sell to? Is there a particular type of customer that you really want to sell to? Or 5 types of customers you really want to sell to? This is the guidance we need to then be able to understand how to create a website for you that matches those target customers and matches what you want to sell and then attracts them to you.
Very cool. All right. Thanks so much. Balloon Suite helps boost your sales, solve everyday problems, and keeps you on track to reach your goals. Check out the link to Balloon Suite in the show notes wherever you're listening, or head right to balloonsuite.com. All right. Welcome back. So let's talk about events. You have a lot planned. The first of which is actually something that happens every week that people can watch for free, participate in for free. So these TUFTEX Tuesdays started popping up. Tell us what these are and why you started doing them.
Well, I don't know exactly when I started thinking about them, but it's been probably a couple of years ago that we were doing these, random classes here or there. We're sponsoring classes through our distributors, or also sponsoring classes with artists on their own. And somehow I got to a point where I was just like, some of these places have walk-in traffic all the time. It's a constant, and just thought it would be kind of neat to have something regular that people can kind of count on and do some fun things with it. So we started earlier this year, and it kind of just, no pun intended, ballooned. Like we started with a couple places that we knew had really busy foot traffic.
Okay.
And then we had others, kind of reaching out saying, hey, what's this all about? We'd love to have it here. Even a couple of our distributors that don't have walk-in stores, but they wanted to be involved as well. So we've kind of tweaked how that can work. But really it was just something like, let's do something where we can have beginners come learn how to do balloons, intermediate artists, level artists, things
maybe I misunderstood. Did I misspeak at the beginning? So it's not online.
No, it's
They're
not
in
online.
person. Okay.
They're
Okay.
in person. All of them are in person at this point.
And it's not weekly. You're not doing one of these every week.
No, but most weeks we have them going
really?
on.
So in-person classes. Okay.
Yes. And so some Tuesdays we may have 3 or 4 going on.
Wow. Okay. I totally thought they
country.
were online.
Nope. We've had them. Most of them are in the US. We have several of them going on now in Canada per month, and we've even had them in Puerto Rico. We've had one in the UK so far. So we have, I think, between 8 and 10 going on a month. And so, they're just 2 or 3 hour. Most of them are 3 hours. They are depending on which distributor you're going to, they can be a little bit different. Some of them have them 3 hours long and, you have to register. Some of them, you just show up.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's just teaching kind of trendy, like 1 or 2 techniques. We try to mix up the type of technique. So we try to incorporate, someone teaching a classic design or someone teaching even how to use helium. How do you properly inflate a balloon to make, some beautiful bouquets? Now, obviously, we're putting in some twisting classes here or there. So it's just kind of fun teaching everybody, different ways, things they can do for different holidays using different palettes, and they're getting, a different perspective, because for the most part, we've just been using local artists at each distributor.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously in LA, it's easier because there are a lot of artists nearby. But some of the, I guess, smaller cities, are a little bit more difficult, but most of them are held in larger cities. So you can go and learn from your peers, and see how everybody's doing things. Because I think at these events, the most important thing is if you pick up one little thing,
100%. Yeah.
And it might just be a different perspective of thinking through things, and it might just make you tweak your technique a little bit. And if you can improve your efficiency or the aesthetics or whatever, whatever may come from that, or even if it's just making a connection of somebody in the city that you can, rely on for help on a big job, or just meeting for coffee and talking about all, just becoming friends, whatever it may be. I think these have been a great platform for that. Now, if you ask some of our team here, especially the ones who are handling this, it's a lot of back and forth of communication.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, we're communicating with the distributor, we're communicating with the artist, we're getting products sent, we're trying to come up with palettes and ideas and techniques and all those sorts of things. So if you ask Meg and Kendall, some days, if they love TUFTEX Tuesdays, it might be a different answer than if you ask me or if you ask some of our distributors. But no, for the most, it's been great. The response has been great. We're getting, some of our places get regularly 60 to 70 people showing up.
That's
every
amazing.
month.
And are these free usually, or do they have like a registration fee? They're just free?
Almost all of them, they are free.
Okay, cool. Maybe if there's like a lunch or something, it wouldn't be. But so people should check where? On your website, or is it best they just go straight to their distributor?
On our website, we post all of the upcoming events.
Okay.
And those are, as soon as we have them confirmed, we put them on our website. Like this morning, I put 3 different ones on. I think a couple of them were in April. So we're kind of getting our next 6 months all, firmed up and planned. But obviously, the distributors also shout it out in different ways. Some of them make flyers and hang them up, or they put them in orders that are going out.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Website, social media, obviously. But really, we don't put too much on social media. We only post them once because they've been so popular. Knock on wood, when we have to start figuring out how to get people there, then it might be time to not do it. But I think now,
I'm like living under a rock. I thought they were online because I think the artists do such a good job of kind of sharing it on their social media. Like I'm here and I just figure like, oh, they're getting ready for their class. And I saw that there were people there, but I don't know. I guess it never occurred to me like I could go.
Well, you may have a harder time. You may have to fly somewhere. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna look around and see where they're doing them. But that's really cool. And I think in person is so important, especially if you're a beginner, like touching things and seeing people, the way they do things up close. It's just different than online, I think.
Yeah. And at that end, I think the other great thing that's come from it is we there's a lot of opportunities for artists to try to teach and see if it's something for them, and this is kind of a put your toe in the water kind of a thing, because
Yeah.
it is a little bit laid back. People aren't paying for the ticket. So, it's not like, oh, I didn't get my whatever dollar amount per, they're
Right.
coming, they're maybe getting their shopping done for their next events
Right. So if anyone
anyway.
complains like, oh, this wasn't worth it, it's like it wasn't worth the $0 you spent to be here. Like,
That's true.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so a couple of the artists I've talked to, even in the just this last month, someone was kind of nervous, and I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It is a big deal, but it is kind of a little bit less stressful way
Yeah.
than, just all of a sudden, oh, I'm teaching at this large event where there's going to be 400 people. It's kind of get some people used to teaching and seeing if they like it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, there are other opportunities for people to learn hands-on. What is hip hopping in Houston? I have this in my notes and I know nothing about it. I don't think anyone knows anything about it. What are
They
we doing in
don't.
Houston?
So, Hip Hoppin' in Houston is a class that we are having. We've been having, I guess I consider them regional events. We had something in Las Vegas last year. Let's see, I can't even remember where we've been. We had a really fun class in Boston. And so this one is another class we're having in March
Okay.
4th, I believe, in Houston. So I'm excited. We haven't had any type of instruction in Houston. And so we have two different instructors. One's going to teach in English and one's going to teach in Spanish on
Oh,
the
okay.
day. I think that it'll kind of be back and forth with both languages. So anyone, I don't think you should be worried, but you can choose to just come to one or the other. Or, I think we'll be fine with back and forth in both sets of instructors. But later that evening, we always like to have like a social part.
Hmm.
And so we are going to have the place that we're having it. It's kind of funny because I was looking for a venue. Normally Meg finds a venue, but I don't remember. She was traveling that week or something. So I thought I'm just going to start looking. And I was kind of just trying to find some place. And I reached out to them, and it's so funny because I reached out to like 3 places, and they came back this one place and they were like, all caps, we love TUFTEX. We
Oh my
actually use it
gosh.
here at the venue. And they've kind of they're not balloon artists per se, but they use TUFTEX when they do put some balloons up. And so I'm like, okay, so this is totally karma, like
Yeah, it's fate.
kismet, I
Yeah.
guess you say. Like we have to have it there, and it just happened to be a place that teaches dance.
Like
So
line dancing?
all types
Oh,
of
okay.
dance. So I'm like, well, maybe we could have some dancing there afterward. And so we are going to have some like hip hop instruction
Oh,
after
cool.
the class. So it should be fun. It's something fun to do. And we'll probably have some snacks and drinks and kind of
Oh,
hang
that's
out.
neat. Very cool. And I'm assuming people go to your website for that as well.
Yep. On our tickets page, they will be available. I don't think they are available yet, but
Okay.
they will be sometime later in January.
Okay. Perfect. And then let's talk about is this the main event, would you say? The big one,
Oh yeah,
TUFTEX Experience?
definitely the main event.
All right, let's talk about that. Last time you were kind of on the fence. I don't know, maybe you just didn't want to say. But after the first one, were you like, we for sure have to do this again? Or were you like, this is maybe like an every other year thing? Like what? Because having done teeny tiny events on my end, like they're a lot. And sometimes you get to the end and you're like, I barely survived. I don't know if I can do this again.
Yes, all of the above, everything you just said. After the first one, which was last year, and I'm sorry, and it was in 2023 in Cleveland. It was great. I believe it was a success, but it basically took parts of all of our souls. Like, no, but when we left there, it was, yes, we need to do this again. Whether we like it or not, we have to do it again because, and and a lot of things will be similar. But then we also want to, I guess with every event, it's kind of like, how can we make it better? How can we make it better? And there's lots of different ways. But one thing that we were getting lots of, suggestions from people where it should be, and it was, of course, it was all of these really cool places, like wherever you can imagine.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, okay, well, we went through a pretty long process and trying to figure out where it should be and where it could be. And I ended up settling on, it's still only our second event, and it is a large scale event, especially for us. So let's keep it close to home, a little bit different than Cleveland, but Cleveland's only an hour from our Ohio factory, and Columbus is 2.
Okay.
So it's a little farther. I used to live in Columbus. I actually used to live in Cleveland as well. I mean, these are going back decades, but I feel comfortable there, and so it's in Columbus. Like I said, we're using a lot of the format is the same. So it's people will get there on one day, then there's a social that evening, and then 3 full days of instruction and socials all of those evenings. And then they would leave the 5th day, basically. So we are just getting ready, actually. A lot of pieces are coming together.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have kind of been, well, after the holidays, after the holidays, that's what and we just have these other things going on with the products that we're developing and, rolling out. So I don't want to say that the experience has kind of come in second. It really hasn't, but it's just, they're trying to time all of these things up at once and get them all done.
Yeah.
It's been pretty a lot of work. Let me tell you.
Your 2025 is shaping up to be pretty busy. I'm overwhelmed for you. But I was really sad to miss the first TUFTEX experience. I had FOMO like no other. And usually I don't. Usually I see people at events and I'm just like, meh, whatever. I don't know if this because it was all over Instagram and I like saw so much of what was happening. I was like, oh, I wish I was there. So I'm so excited. I am going this year. We're going to do a little podcasting there. And
we're excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's more fun in person. It's just fun to be in the same room with people. So I can't wait to do some interviews and little games and stuff. But are there tickets still available if people are interested?
Yes, there are. So this year we decided, well, we have, like I said, lots of feedback. Sell more. So we did we upped the number of tickets available. Okay. But like last time we had, well, it was a little bit different. We had much stronger sales this time on the day of when they released. Actually, it basically shut our website down.
Oh gosh.
Even though I was a little worried about that. So I had reached out to, our website developers, just making sure. And they had shut some functions down on our website just for like the day so that we could make sure that we had, but the amount of traffic going and trying to purchase was crazy.
That's so exciting.
But like I said, last time we sold a lot, or we sold a good amount, but it was really not until like after the holidays. I think, people have their money tied up and it's a little bit, for some artists, it's a little bit slower time of season. Yeah. So I anticipate, everything being sold out.
And what is the max? Like, what is the total size of this event?
Oh, I really can't say yet because we could add more tickets.
Oh, okay.
The venue is much larger this time.
Okay.
And it's a Hilton, just like in Cleveland. They're kind of sister properties, so they're very similar. That's why we also chose this location because we were very comfortable with layouts and with kind of the processes.
Okay.
But this last time, for instance, we only had one floor. I don't want to say only. It was a large space. We had one floor completely all TUFTEX. This time we have 2 floors of the hotel. And so not quite double the space, but we're going to have a lot more room available for things that we wanted to improve upon. Just such as maybe more inflation space for our instructors.
Oh, okay.
More space to store things that were made in one class that we want to store and keep for the final night party, that sort of thing. And that's just one piece. But so we do have two entire floors to ourselves. Just lots of different things like that. So we could we could double what we did last time, which last time we were at like maybe 375 total.
Oh my gosh.
We probably could go even larger, truthfully, but we're not going to, because I don't want to go too crazy. It was a lot to handle. Knock on wood, like I said, it went really, really well. But I just want to make sure that we can do everything as, effectively as we did last time, and also improve upon it once again. So I don't want to go too large, because I think it's nice for everybody to feel like, yes, this is a really big event, but I'm getting to know a lot of people. I don't feel too overwhelmed. And even for myself personally, I want to be able to greet or say hi or talk or sit down or with almost everyone that's there. And it's difficult, and it might not exactly happen, but I don't want it to get too large.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's great. Well, I'm so excited to be there. I cannot wait. And if anyone's listening and wants a ticket, snag one, but also you'll hear more about it this month, I believe, because TUFTEX has sponsored this entire month of the podcast. So you have curated the January guests, and one of them is going to be talking about how to pull off big decor on that scale. So like when you have to plan, the first night of decor or the final night of decor, like how do you plan that? What goes into it? So more coming in future episodes, but we will hear more about TUFTEX Experience in January. We'll take one more break, and then we'll ask our final questions and wrap it up.
Okay.
Before we wrap up this week's episode, I wanted to let you know that the 2025 Bright Balloon Business Planner is now available on Amazon. I created this planner a few years back when I was looking to purchase a planner to set my business goals, and everything I found was way too overwhelming. It included everything from a monthly schedule to your kid's soccer practice schedule to your grocery list. It was way too much. So I created something very simple and straightforward, simply for your business, for setting realistic goals and tracking your important numbers. So if that is something that will help you in your business, like it's helped me, it's available now. You can search on Amazon for the Bright Balloon Business Planner, or click the link in the show notes wherever you're listening. I hope it helps. All right, welcome back. 3 final questions. The first one is, where's your favorite place to go on vacation? It has nothing to do with balloons, but I know you travel all the time.
Oh boy. New York City.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. I'm a big city person, and I get there and I'm just like, oh, I just love to blend in, and nobody's paying attention to anybody else, or at least in my mind, they're not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Something that you're loving right now, something that you've purchased or that you own or that you received as a gift that you're just like, oh, this is great.
I actually would say, so I last week when I was in Canada, they had, for some reason, some random box of clothing that someone in Canada had given them, brand new clothing. A store had shut down or something, but they were like, I'm like, what is that box? And it's just like a bunch of sweatshirts and sweatpants. And anyway, they were like, oh, that's been here for like a year, 2 years. I can't even remember. And help yourself, take them, whatever. And I took these sweatpants home and washed them, and I think I'm going to live in them because they are the comfiest sweatpants. I don't know.
Random Canadian sweatpants.
Random free sweatpants, and they have some random logo like printed. I don't know. It says something about Great Lakes. It's like a I don't know, a brewing company or something. I don't know. And I don't even like beer, but I love the sweatpants.
Oh,
And
it's
like I
so
said,
funny.
I never want to get out of them.
I
Ever.
love it. All right, the last question, a super simple piece of business advice that you would give our listeners.
A simple piece of business advice that I like to try to adopt myself. And I guess I would give, if anyone wanted any advice from Allison, which probably they don't, but would be to just always be open to learn, open to change. And it's really hard for me, but that's what I've learned in this business, trying to come from the business that I was in. And, I don't know, having all these kids like we talked about, just trying new things, or at least opening your mind to accepting other people's things,
Yeah.
and it's I guess I'm not like that normally, so I have to learn it myself and to practice it. But I think it's really new things, like just learning things just opens up so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm so excited for everything new coming, and congrats on all of the huge changes over there. And I can't wait to see you at some of these upcoming events.
Yes. Well, thanks, Sarah. I appreciate you having me on today.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.